Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Community Journal Show this morning. And as you can see, I'm here, but my cohorts, Jack and Ron, are to the side right now in the studio. They're waiting until later to join us. I do have some very special guests with me this morning, and they are Mary Anderson, who is, of course, the Executive Director of the Family Pantry of Cape Cod, and she has been on with us many times. And we have Andy Genzer, who is the Executive Director of the We Can organization. And ladies, this has been a wonderful collaboration that you have come to form with some restaurants in town. And can you tell us a little bit about it and how it came to be?
Sure. There's actually 4 organizations. Obviously, Andy from We Can. I got my W in there wrong, and myself. But there's 2 other partners that try to picture them on the other side of Eileen. Larry Marslin of the Lower Cape Outreach Council, and Jay Coburn of the Community Development Partnership. And Jay, who isn't with us, this was really his brainchild.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
He picked the idea up in London, as Andy recalls, and brought it back with him. And I think the nice part about Jay is instead of doing something just for his organization, he thought it would be more effective as a collaboration and got Andy, Larry, and myself involved.
Wow, that's amazing, because the 4 of you do work together here on the Cape.
Yes.
Often.
Yes. Yes. And Andy, can you tell us a little bit about what you do before we get into the restaurant piece of it?
Sure. You mean at We Can, what we do?
Yes, at We Can, and also the collaborations.
Okay, so We Can is a small organization that supports women and families on the Cape. It stands for Women's Empowerment through Cape Area Networking, and we have a whole host of services to support women. And so all of our 4 organizations, each of us does something different, but very complementary.
Okay.
So we work closely with the Pantry, with Lower Cape, with the Community Development Partnership. We cross-refer. Sometimes we call each other and say, you know, we have someone we really want to help together. And so it's, you know, doing work like this on fundraising also helps build the relationships for services. And that's something that I really believe in. I actually have a little sign in my office that says, collaborate or die. And I kind of believe that that's the way to do the work, because none of us can do it all. And so if we don't duplicate services, which none of us do, then that means there's more there for the community who needs it.
Yes.
So, and we're excited about this collaboration because we really want to bring out the need in the community that exists, because you know, so many people, especially the visitors who come here, have kind of a misimpression of Cape Cod that, as I said to you earlier, that everybody's wealthy and happy and just going along, you know, living life easy. And for so many people on the Cape and so many working folks, there's a huge number of what I'd call working poor families who are really struggling, who are using the pantry, many of whom would say, I used to volunteer at the pantry, but now I'm using it. And many of the people in the restaurants that we're working with are themselves folks who might need our services.
Well, in more ways than one, Andy, the Cape is really a unique place. And one of the reasons is we have a lot of seasonal workers.
Right, exactly.
And during the season, they're doing fine. But when the season, as we know it, is over, and the winter comes, then, you know, we do have people that are in need of services because they just can't make ends meet. No matter how many jobs they have, it doesn't seem to be enough.
You know, and I was at an event that a group in Chatham did for us, and the woman who was speaking, who was a seasonal resident herself, you know, sort of made such a great plea, because she said, you know, we love this place, the Cape. It's a beautiful place. The reason we come here or live here is because it's so special, and we want to keep it that way. And that means that, you know, when you look around at the store, at the restaurant, at whatever place, you realize that a lot of the people who are working are only in jobs that can last them maybe April to October.
Yes.
And that doesn't support a family. You know,
and
that's
you
simple.
just met someone that mentioned that to you. Yes.
The program, maybe we should explain the program a little bit
idea.
first. We came up with the name after some brainstorming of Making Ends Meet, because that really tied all of us together. As Andy said, some of our services are different. You know, Larry does a housing component, although he and I both do food. CDP does housing and some business development. And then Andy does an entire wraparound of services helping women get back on their feet.
Yes,
so there's
we've
some
had
overlap.
guests that have come to the Second Glance thrift store
Right.
to shop
Right.
for interviews and to
Exactly.
get back to work.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
So we tried to think of something that we all had in common, and what our final conclusion was the four of us are providing the safety net that helps people make ends meet.
I see.
So that's how we came up with the title, and our little
Yes, I love
logo
that.
is. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a plate with a $$ sign on it and a knife and a fork making ends meet. Because we've taken
big
this
one.
to the, I don't have my turkey here like I do at Thanksgiving. I need better audio visuals. So we've got a partnership with restaurants. There's about 22 restaurants, mostly on the Lower Cape, but up as far as Dennis, that have partnered with us in this program. And what we're asking them to do is to put this, it's about the size of a credit card, and it goes where the credit card goes in the folder when you get your bill. It explains a little bit about the program and references, thank you, Vanna, the envelope. And people can put a donation in, seal it up and leave it, or if they want, they can mail it back. And I guess the most exciting thing for me is I'm the banker, and checks are coming in from Pittsburgh and Florida, and it's fabulous.
That's amazing. And this is in addition to the tip
This
for the
is-
server.
That's correct.
Yes.
And we're very clear that we want to take care of the servers as well. So it's fairly simple, but this is a really busy time for the restaurants, so we can't thank the restaurants enough
know.
for jumping in on this.
This is happening during the months of August and September, correct?
August and
Yep.
September, that's correct.
And there are 5 restaurants that are participating in Harwich, and I think you'd like to talk a little bit
Sure.
about those.
Sure. So Bonatt's Bakery and Restaurant, Brax Landing, La Alouette Bistro, our next door neighbor, Land Ho, Harwich Port, and the 400 East. And I just want to echo our thanks because, you know, just even talking to these restaurant people, they are just swamped right now, and we're so grateful. And they've been great, and so many of the folks I talked to were just happy to participate, totally got it, and really wanted to be part of the effort. And that's the thing that's also so special about the Cape is that it's such a community of caring.
Yes, it is.
You know?
I have noticed that since my husband and I moved down here almost 9 years ago. Everybody is aware of who lives here, and everybody is aware that there is an older population, and sometimes if people are out somewhere and they look like they might need a little help, people just jump in and say,
Exactly.
is there something
Right.
I can help you with?
Right.
It's such a different attitude and feeling than off Cape. And
Yeah,
we,
I agree.
we lived
It's-
on the South Shore for most of our lives. And then to move down here and see this community sharing and caring and giving is just amazing. It really is.
Yeah.
And I think that's also why you see the collaboration among the 4 nonprofits.
Yes.
Most of my career was not in the nonprofit sector, and you didn't see quite as much collaboration sometimes in that world. But I think even nonprofits down here, I think it's got something to do with the bridge and the fact that we are such a discrete geography. Andy, when did you start your job?
A little over 3 years
A
ago.
little over 3 years ago, so I had been here about 5, and Andy has a lot of nonprofit experience. Her first move as an executive director, she called a bunch of us and came out and said hello, and this is what I'm doing, wanted to see what you're doing, and working together. And it was just, well, this is a pretty amazing lady.
Wow.
And then to have Jay do that same with an idea he picked up in his travels.
I know, and to think he got the idea overseas.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
And we took a page out of Dorothy Savarise's advice book. We were all at an event at the Cape Cod 5 a year and a half or so ago, and she talked specifically to the nonprofits about collaboration.
Right.
Did she?
So I think I give a lot of kudos to Andy and Jay for making that type of stuff happen.
Yes.
And we're really grateful too, just want to mention the Cape Cod 5 and the Wicked Local Media because, you know, we wouldn't really be able to do this without a sponsor. And so the Cape Cod 5 stepped up and offered us the kind of money that allowed us to print the materials so we didn't have to spend money to do that.
Oh, nice.
And that was great. And then Wicked Local has been putting ads, and this is the ad that's
Yes.
going in the Cape Codder, and I think is the Advocate up in P-Town.
The banner?
The Banner. I always
Banner.
get it confused. And the Cape Codder, and they've, you know, there've been a lot of stories. There was a piece in the Cape Cod Times last Sunday in the community node. So it's gotten a lot of ink, and which we're really grateful for. But you know, without the kind of sponsorship, we would have to have dug into our own organizational pockets, and none of us like to do that to raise
Oh,
money.
no, you want the money to go where it
right,
needs to go,
exactly.
yeah.
So that's the great thing about it.
And in addition to, obviously, we hope to make a little money at this, but it is the pilot year. I think the exposure's been great. You know, an opportunity like this to talk to Harwich. We've done a few other TV stations. We've done a little bit of radio and a lot of press. So it's nice just to get that awareness.
Well, it's wonderful to have you come on the show because, as I said to both of you, Jack and I mentioned this on the show last week, and you know, it's one thing to read the information off a piece of paper, but it's another thing to have the people who are behind the idea come and explain it to the audience and let us know what it's all about.
And I just have a request to the listeners, which is, in addition to going to the restaurants and supporting, to thank the restaurants. You know, if you are in one of these establishments in Harwich or elsewhere, you know, to let them know that you think it's a great thing they're doing it, because I think that's something that's really important. I know members of our board have done that and have said, you know, we came to your restaurant because we know you're participating in this. And,
Oh, wow,
you know, and I
that's
think
nice.
that's something we want to, you know, that's a message we want to get out. It's that, you know, we're all in this together. So when the businesses and the nonprofits work together, the community works. And we've gotten so much of that kind of support, and we want to thank all of the 20+ restaurants that are participating.
Yes, and I think this is a good time to mention who they are.
Great.
Because most of us do leave the town of Harwich from time to time, and we do
Every
eat
once in a while
elsewhere.
we're allowed,
Yes,
right.
yes, we leave the town borders. So we have Abba in Orleans, Back Nine Cafe in Brewster, the Blackfish Bistro in Truro, Chatham Squire, one of my favorites in Chatham. Devon's, is it, or Devon's?
Devon's.
Devon's, thank you, in Provincetown. Devon's Deep Sea Dive in Provincetown. Carew in Eastham. Local 186 in Provincetown. Mac Shack, which is another of my favorites in the summertime, in Wellfleet. Mahoney's in Orleans. Norabella in West Dennis. PB Bistro and Boulangerie in Wellfleet. The Red Pheasant in Dennis, another favorite. Rock Harbor Grill in Orleans. And of course the ones that we mentioned in Harwich previously. And if you would like a list of these restaurants, I do believe they're going to be here on our website. There's 4 websites that you can learn more about. And I believe that Jill is going to put those up as well. Well, ladies, thank you so much for coming and putting a face to what we were talking about last week. It's really nice to meet you, Andy.
Great.
And great to have you always, Mary. And
Thank
thank
you.
you for all that you do.
Thank you.
And
you
all that your
very much.
organizations do. And the
Thank
same
you.
to Larry and to Jay as well.
Great.
Sorry they couldn't be with us.